Look, I spent $100 on this suit, and frankly, I can't fit in the suit itself anymore. So you get the mask, and I'm gonna put it on because why did I do that? I don't know why I did it. What's up, Flick fans? I can barely breathe in this thing. I'm going to take it off. But today we're going to talk Morbius and Madam Web and the Venom movies. Are you excited about that? Why would you be? Why would you be excited about that? And I know we're getting more this year, but I thought ranking them right now would be fun. And then we're going to do a big old list at the end of the year, including the Spider Man films. But right now, where's this thing? I can't see. We're going to rank the Sony Spider Man-less universe. What's that? What is it? Ugh, I look like emo Peter Parker.
Come on, get your stuff. Let's go.
At the bottom, I had a tough decision to make. Is it Madam Web, whom people on my letterboxd are referring to as Mommy, or is it Morbius? And it just morbed all over me when I rewatched this movie just a couple of days ago. Actually, it was yesterday. God. Time has moved so fast since I watched Morbius. And there's actually a pretty intense debate online right now. Some Morbius fans are like, hey, this movie is clearly better than Madam Web. What are you guys talking about? And then Madam Web fans are like, okay, this film has style. It has pizzazz. It has Sydney Sweeney. Is that Mommy? I don't understand the lingo. At the bottom of my list, I'm going Madam Web. And no, I haven't had the opportunity to watch it twice. Will I ever? Probably not.
What? No.
And just thinking about this film compared to Morbius, at least Morbius had the memes. Yeah, there are Madam Web memes, all right, but they're not that good in my opinion. And at least Morbius had a fight scene or two. I don't want to talk about that movie too much. Let's talk about Madam Web. And what was this trying to be? It feels like a movie where they got halfway through making it and they're just like, let's just scrap the rest of it and move on to the ending. And, you know, if you look at this premise on its surface, and a lot of people have said this is not an original thought, so it's very Terminator 2. There was an idea going around like a year or two ago where the premise of the film was apparently all of these girls, they have to protect Peter Parker's mom, who has Peter Parker in her tummy, and they have to assure the survival of Peter so he inevitably becomes Spider-Man. That sounds infinitely more interesting than this idea. And I get it. It's all about execution. That could have been horrible too. And I don't want to throw S.J. Clarkson under the bus because I genuinely don't know. Is it the direction or is it the studio interference? I don't know what caused the majority of the issues here. I'm going to chalk it up to the writing, to the writers, the same writers as Morbius, but it's so uninteresting across the board, and the dialogue, the way they deliver the dialogue, and these little side quests that these girls go on, it's just like they're hanging out in a forest for a few minutes. They're hanging out in a diner for a few minutes. They go and they learn how to do CPR, and then you get to this climax, and yeah, there's more things going on with this climax, but a lot of it you just can't really explain why or how or the point of it all. And they try to have this emotional crux where it's she and her mom. It's just like you don't feel anything because the delivery is so dry. And I don't want to throw Dakota Johnson under the bus because I will defend her. I know a lot of people are like, we don't like Dakota Johnson. Watch Peanut Butter Falcon. Watch Cha-Cha Real Smooth. Watch some of these films that genuinely showcase her talents. This is not one of those. But is it her fault? Is it Sydney Sweeney's fault? Or is it the script? Now, Raheem is the villain, you know, that was pretty bad, but also a lot of ADR. So what do you do?
Michael, I've known you since you were a child. You're a gift.
Now, I want to move into Morbius, and this film is almost equally bad, but there are some things that salvage it for me. Do they completely waste the storyline of these agents and Tyrese Gibson's character? And, Jared Harris is in here. Jared Harris is in this film.
What?
I completely forgot until I rewatched the other day. I'm like, that dude's amazing. He's one of the best character actors in the business. And I forgot he was in the film. And I watched it again. I'm like, no, that's why. Because they waste him. Absolutely waste him. And what you get at the beginning, spelling out Matt Smith's character. What was his name? What was his name? I mean, within 5 minutes of that storyline, I knew it was going here, here, and here the first time watching Morbius, and they did exactly that. Now, what puts this slightly ahead of Madam Web, and it's like you're comparing the two dumpsters. Which one's on fire at the moment? Well, it's Madam Web, but they're both equally bad, right? But what I think Morbius has is that there's one action sequence that was pretty cool. Him discovering his powers, that was kind of interesting. There's not a lot of style. It's a dark and dreary movie, maybe even more dreary than Madam Web. At least that kind of had style, even though that was all over the place. But Morbius, there's some moments where I'm laughing, I'm chuckling. I didn't really get that with Madam Web. It's just way more boring. But Morbius, Matt Smith's dance scene. Also, this moment was phenomenal.
It's Morbid time.
And then people, because of the memes, baited Sony into releasing the movie again. And I'm just like, that's not a good idea because nobody's going to watch it. And no one watched it. Now, I don't think they're going to make the same mistake twice with Madam Web, but both of these films, I mean, look, if you look at Morbius's actual box office, it did even better than some of the comic book movies last year. So, yes, it was a bomb, but it wasn't what I believe Madam Web is going to be, which is a big bomb.
What were you guys doing in Los Alamos?
The guy you work for is an evil person.
I don't work for him. My firm works for him. Are you gonna behave yourself tomorrow?
I told you I'm gonna do my job.
Then we have the Venom movies. I'm putting Venom 2 over Venom 1. We'll start with Venom 1, a film that I thought was just very... Look, and these films have their fans. I saw some people on Twitter, or X, it's called X now. I saw some people on X like, Morbius is better than Venom, Madam Web is better than Venom, and I'm sitting back thinking, what the hell? Because what Venom has that allows it to rise above a bad story, allows it to rise above a mediocre script and poor dialogue in 6 months. I forgot Riz Ahmed was the bad guy in this film. Michelle Williams is in both movies. I'm like, that's... And it goes to show how forgettable of a movie and an experience and a script Venom is, but the highlight and what allows it to stand way above a Morbius and a Madam Web, in my opinion, is Tom Hardy as this character. And you can tell that there's a passion there, and the way he goes back and forth, specifically in this first movie, with himself adds some fun and funny scenes, some good moments, and enough to where it becomes somewhat of an entertaining experience, and you can, and I keep using the word somewhat, overlook the flaws within the script and the pacing and how mediocre of a battle we get at the end of this movie. That's another reason why I put Carnage above it. It's the back and forth with Hardy and Venom. That's what keeps me going with the first Venom, and that's what allows it to rise above the rest of this list specifically. And then we have Let There Be Carnage. And I was so excited to see Woody Harrelson as Carnage, man. I'm like, that's actually, it's kind of weird, but it's okay. We'll make it work.
All I ever wanted in this world is carnage.
And the second Venom is like outlandish, cartoonish, insane fun. I mean, there's some things that happen in this film that are so out there and weird, and the tone and the vibe is all over the place at times. It tries to be serious, it tries to be silly, it tries to be schlocky, and then it gets really dark. And I'm like, there's a big missed opportunity here to make both of these movies R-rated. And part of that is what I've always wanted to see in Venom, and that's Venom from the comics and the TV shows and the video games and pretty much every version, but this Tom Hardy version, which is more silly and schlocky than intense. And we've got silly versions before, but this Tom Hardy version, that's kind of what it's known for, and that's amplified to an 11 in this film because Woody Harrelson's Carnage is the same way. But to not have an R-rated Venom versus Carnage was a huge, a massive missed opportunity. And then taking that a step further, and a storyline that is, again, all over the place, a script that is in no way cohesive, and me putting this at the top of the list is not me saying, well, Venom Let There Be Carnage, it's a really good movie. No, I think it's okay because I have fun with it, and I love the back and forth between Tom Hardy and himself, Tom Hardy and Woody Harrelson and himself. There's a lot of things to like, and there's some pretty good chemistry or lack thereof on screen. Beyond that, it is a bit of a mess, but some cool fight scenes and sequences that also feel like missed opportunities, but it's a movie that you can have fun with. I believe there is fun to be had with both of these Venom films. That's not me saying I think they're all that good, but hey, you have to have a number one, don't you? And Let There Be Carnage is my number one, but, you know, let me know your lists. This was a short video. Well, there's no need to drag this out.
Boring.
Do you like the Eminem Venom song? Is that something that works for you? Oh, man. You know, this Madam Web thing, I just can't believe it feels as early 2000s. And I've said that about all of these films. They all feel early 2000s, silly, schlocky, not where the rest of the Marvel Universe is. And they have their bad films as well, and I would put Let There Be Carnage above some of the more recent MCU entries. But that's not a, you know, that's a thing. I don't know. Where are we at? Thank you guys for watching. Hey, if you want to drop a like on this video, fine. If not, okay. Let's put the mask back on. It's just so, I don't know. It's so tight on my head. There's no point. It just takes me forever, and I'm not doing it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.